Hey kids, hopefully we won't get interrupted today. This is lesson 7. It's a very challenging lesson. This is module 1, and the objective is to round. So we're really rounding, and we're rounding a given decimal to any place. And so when I taught 3rd grade for 9 years, we would start the year and talk about place value and talk about rounding, and it was so challenging. And it's still challenging in 5th grade because now we're sliding that rounding place and helping number all over the place. So this is a sample of what's in the teacher's edition, kind of helping to coach the kids. So I'm going to use the old way and I'm going to use the new way. We're going to kind of combine them. And so the renaming the units is really going to help you by with this vertical number line. And so you're going to want to put your digits into the place value positions. And then I call it putting the squeeze on the number. Squeeze it down to the position that you're rounding to so that you can rename that number with that number of whatever, tens, ones, tenths, whatever. That's going to go in a specific place on your vertical number line. And so we're going to rename these numbers using the greatest number of whatever possible, tens, ones, tenths. And so we'll take this and then we'll round it through this new method. There are vertical number lines, and that's just a fancy way of saying they go up and down. And the difference there is that the 5, or what the kids like to say, the 0.5, or the halfway, is showing where the big bossy numbers start, and then you round up or you round down. I don't really like any of their practice problems, so I always tend to do my own. I just think these are all terrible if they all round up. And then I also have my own strategy, which is basically the old way. And then I talk a lot about just boxing or identifying the rounding place and the helping number. To me, this really is so much clearer for most children because you can round to any place value position. It just depends on what they tell you. Okay, so there will be a place value position on the right called the helping number, and it's always going to be on the right. The helper is on the right. I like to identify the little no power digits as the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I usually sing Billy Joel's "Don't Go Changing" to them, and we sing a lot. And I can't really sing because my voice is kind of thrashed right now. But anyway, the big, powerful, bossy numbers will say just add 1 to the rounding place. Great questions coming from students. Why don't we add it to the helping number? Because the helping number is telling the rounding place what to do. And so I gave them a number like this, 32,791,468. I said, if this is the rounding place, this is the helping number. And then we read it together. What is in the box? It's 91. What is the closest 10? The closest 10 is 90. So we're always identifying the closest 10 based on these 2-digit numbers that are in the box. And it always becomes a 2-digit number because we've got the rounding place and the helping number. Okay, everything after the rounding place becomes a 0. Everything before it stays the same unless you have something like our challenge number on the bottom. I'll get there in a second. So rounding place, helping number. 6 is big bossy. Just add 1 to the rounding place. It becomes 5 and 4 tenths, or 5 and 40 hundredths, or 5 and 400 thousandths, depending on what you're being asked to round to. This is in the tenths. This one is rounding to the ones place, identified here. Helping number is 3. It's a little number. It has no power. Don't go changing it. Don't go changing it, it being the rounding place. Okay, this one being the rounding place in the hundredths, the thousandths is the helping number, and the 1 is a little number. It doesn't have any power, so it says don't go changing. Thank you, Billy Joel, for such a great song. And then I have a couple of other examples down here. So those are all the notes. Make sure you get those. Onward to the book. So lesson 7 problem set has these vertical number lines, and it also has some kind of crummy samples of what to do. The 3 1/10, and then they want you to round it to 3 place value positions, one of which they don't even have anything there. Well, 2 of which they don't even have anything there. So it just kind of forces you to really use your noggin. So put this into your place value chart. Take your 3 1/10 and put it in the chart. If I was to put the squeeze on to my tenths place, I would have 31 tenths. But I also have to round to the hundredths place. Well, there's nothing here. So it would be 310 hundredths. Okay. And what if I have tens? Well, I have 0 tens. Okay, so you can put the 0 there. Okay, now using the vertical number line, how do you do that? Well, let's start with the tenths because we actually have the digits here, and I don't necessarily have a helping number, but I have a digit here as opposed to the tens or the hundredths, which both have zeros. So let's start in the tenths. So when you've put the squeeze on this place value position, in this number line, I want to count by either this or my plus 1. So this would be how many tenths? 31 tenths. What is plus 1? It's 32 tenths. It's so tiny. Good luck with your writing. I know kids have huge writing, and it's very challenging. So what is this middle bar for? This is for the, as kids like to say, the 0.5, but we're already past the decimal. So you have to take your tenths, and like I said, with the rounding place and the helping number, there are 2 positions, and they're right next to each other. It's the helping numbers 5. So we're going to have 31 tenths and 5 whatever is to the right. So here it's hundredths. So it's going to be, and our actual standard form number is 3.1. So it's going to be 3.1, right? 31 tenths, that's what that is. 3.15 or 3.2. So there's your standard form. Here's the 5. That's the helping number. Now let's look at this standard form one more time. In order to really look at what 15 hundredths means, why don't you just put a 10 there and have 10 hundredths or 20 hundredths? Now we're comparing the same number of digits to each other, and it's going to be a whole lot easier to count as you place your number on the number line. Now this one, again, a very poor example on how to start, because if I'm trying to round to the nearest tenths place and I have nothing as my helping number, then my number is essentially already rounded. So just circle this because that's rounded. What I would put on this number line would be like 3.11, 3.12, 3.13, that looks like a 7, 3.14, 3.15, 3.16, 0.17, 0.18, 0.19, and 3.20. That's what the number line is for. So since I only have this 3.1 and I already put it on my number line, this is actually where my number is. It's already rounded. See what I mean? Terrible example. What we want is for something to be in the middle, and then do we round it up or down? So let's whiz through these other 2 real quickly so you can see how to do it. Let's go to the hundredths place, which is going to be 310 hundredths. I'm just going to abbreviate THS, okay? And then I also like to have the standard form of the number, so it's really just 3.10. So you've got your 310 hundredths. So what's a plus 1? 311 hundredths, 3.11, and you can do 311 hundredths. So what's the 0.5? It's going to be 3 point, okay, start here. Make this 100 make this 105, make this 110, and now you can see how that number line goes. So you go out to that next position, which is the thousandths, to get the helping number, because we're already here for the rounding place. So this is my helping number in the thousandths. Okay? But again, my number is only 3.1. So this is it rounded. And you don't have to put anything else in here because I don't need 311. I'm sorry. 0. There we go. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110. I don't need to put anything there because this is where we're starting. Okay? Hopefully that is clearer now. Now, going off to the tens place, this has, what do we count by? Well, I don't even have any tens. I have 0 tens. So what's plus 1? It would be 10. It would be 110. 110. Okay, so what's in the middle if we're counting by tens? 5. Okay, so where does my number fall? This is the only one where we actually get to use the vertical number line as it's intended, and our number is 3 and 1/10. So what's the plus 5 for the helping number? It's the ones place. So I have 0 tens and 5 ones. So in standard form, like I have 0, or I have 5, or I have 10. So where does my number fall? It's 3. Okay, 3.1 to be exact. And so that also rounds down to 0 tens. Okay, yuck, that's what I say. I really prefer my old way for these. I've talked to the other 6th grade teachers, and they're like, no, we never really use this, but you do have to know how to do it for this program, so that's why we're spending time on this lesson. Now, they go from 0 to 100, or just kidding, 2 digits to 6, and we have to try to put everything in the chart, and we don't have enough lines to put the squeeze on every single one, so we're going to really strategically look at the place value positions they want us to crunch to. So if I have to use tens, I'm going to start with 11 tens, 5 ones, and then 376 thousandths. Do that, just copy it. 11, because we have to include all the digits up to that point. Remember, we've put the squeeze on to this point. Okay, if I'm also going to round to the ones place, okay, we're squeezing it down, we're renaming, and I'm going to say 115 ones and then 376 thousandths. Okay, now the next one is for hundredths, and I want it to be squeezed to this place. Now I could stop in the tenths, but I don't have to, so I'm going to go ahead and put 1, 1, 5, 3, 7, and 6. And we'll stop there. Okay, so let's round to the, I like to go left to right normally, but I feel like the whole numbers would be easier. Let's start with the hundredths. We'll just go left to right. We can do it. So whatever's in the hundredths place, remember, if you use your rounding place and your helping number, I've got 7 in the hundredths place, 6 in the thousandths. So you're looking at 76. What will 76 become? 6 is a big bossy number, so it's going to become 80. Now think about that while we put this on the hundredths vertical number line. Okay, so I'm going to have 11537 as my lowest number. Hundredths. Okay, or the standard form, 115.37. The plus one is 11538, and the halfway is 11537, and then that 0.5. Okay, or the next place value position. But the next place value position has a 6. 376. So this is where your number is on the number line. The 6 thousandths would say go up, or just add 1, And so circle the rounded number. Now what is that in standard form? It's 115.38. Okay? So that this says I need to add 1. This is the helping number that says to this one, just add 1. So 7 plus 1 equals 8. That's where that comes from. Okay, let's do the ones place. So the ones place, you're going to have your 115 ones, and the plus 1 would be 116 ones. So what's in the middle? 115, like the kids say 0.5, but it's really 0.3. This is 0.5 in the halfway, and our number is 115.3. Okay, so since this falls down below, we're going to round down, and it's to the ones place. So if you want to put this in your rounding place and helping number, then you can do 115 ones, and then this is our rounding, and this is our helper. Okay, and the 3, essentially 53 is in the box. That would go to 50. And so your standard form is 115. Okay? Tens. If you're counting by tens, how many do I have? 11 tens or 12 tens. That's your plus 1. So what's in the middle? I've got 11, and then I've got 5 for the ones, like the 0.5 or the halfway. So our helping number is actually 5. So this midway says round up. And so then what you end up with is 120. So the 115.376, if you round to the tens place, you're looking at this. And so the 5 says just add 1, and you end up with 120. Okay, so I think this is a lot clearer than this, but this is the way the book does it. Whatever, we'll do it. Okay, next one. We have our 0 and 994 thousandths. They gave us this nice place value chart here. And so we can fill it in, but we have to do 4 place value positions here, but we have a 0. So I'm not going to do anything for the tens. I'm just going to use the ones because I also have 0 ones there. So we'll do 0, 0, and then 9, 9, 4. For the ones place, we're going to have 0. Oh, I still need tenths and hundreds. Tenths, we're going to do this one, 0, 9, 9, 4. And hundredths, we're going to do 99 and 4. Okay, so let's start with our hundredths. Since it's on the left, how many hundredths do we have? We have 99 hundredths. What's a plus 1? 100 hundredths. What's halfway? 99.5 or 99 with 5 thousandths. Okay, so standard form. Let's look at this in standard form. We're going to have 0.99 for the hundredths. And then the plus 1, because we've got all these nines that if no matter where I add it, if I have a plus 1 here, it bumps it up to 10. This one bumps up to 10, so my next one would be the 100. Okay, so where do I put this? 0.994 when my hundredths is right here and my helping number is a 4. That would round it down, so circle your rounded answer. Let's do the tenths. Okay, that's right here. So I have 9 tenths, 9 tenths, and plus 1 would be that 10 tenths. Okay, just like this one, it's still going to be 10 tenths is 1.00. Okay, that's actually 100th. Don't want to confuse you guys. Don't want to confuse you. Okay, so what's the 0.5? It would be, if this is standard form, 0.9. It would be 0.95. Go to the next place value position. That's the helping number. The 0.5 tells you which way to go. Now, our actual number is 0.99. If my helping number is right here, okay, then that says we bump it up. And so circle your rounded answer at 10 tenths. Let's round to the ones place. Well, there are 0 ones. So there would only be one, potentially. And what is the halfway? It's going to be the 5 tenths, because that's halfway. So where is our number? It's 9 tenths. And therefore we would round up. If it's on the upper part, if it's halfway or above, we round up. If it's anywhere below, you round down. Next one, tens. Again, we don't even have anything. Like, why did you bother putting it here? That's just annoying. So I have 0 tens, or I could have 1 10, or I could have 5 ones. But our number is so tiny, it is way down here. I have 0 tens, and my number is 0 and 994 thousandths. So it's like, it's here. I have 0. So there's your rounded answer. It's 0. Okay, moving on. For open international competition, the throwing circle in the men's shot put must have a diameter of 2 and 135 thousandths meters. Round this number to the nearest hundredth. Use a number line to show your work. Okay, so boy, they love it when we use the vertical ones, and I just can't stand it. I'm so sorry. I think they're terrible. But we're going to take our 2 and 135 thousandths, and we have to round it to the nearest hundredth, which is here. I just look at this and I go 35 rounds to 40. So their big fancy way, how many hundredths do you have? 2.13. What's the plus for? 2.14. What's the halfway? 2.135. Where's our number? 2.135. Halfway numbers go up. Here's your rounded answer. Here's my rounded answer. Okay, I got it a whole lot easier than they did, but whatever. That we used the number line and we did it. So you can too. Hooray! I am salty today. Here, let's do another one. Jen's pedometer. Oh, become a subscriber and come back again and listen to more grouching. Jen's pedometer said she walked 2 and 549 thousandths miles. She rounded her distance to 3 miles. Her brother rounded her distance to 2 and 5 tenths miles. When they argued about it, because that's what kids do, siblings, their mom said they were both right. Explain how that could be true. Use number lines and words to explain your reasoning. We'll use these pesky vertical number lines. And we'll take our 2 and 549 thousandths. And she rounded it to the nearest whole number, 25 rounds to 30. And her brother rounded 2 and 549 to 2 and 5 tenths, because 54 rounds to 50. And so if you put these on the vertical number line, and we've got Jen rounding to the nearest ones place, then we've got either 2 ones or 3 ones, and the halfway would be the 2.5, literally. And she has 2.5, so that rounds up to 3. So she's right. And then bruh, no name, bruh. He has rounded to the nearest tenths place, so we have to see how many tenths, and we've got 25 tenths or 26 tenths, and the halfway, that's not really half, there's half, 25, and then the 500ths, but we're at 2.54. 2.54, and that goes down. This is what we have, And so that's why he's correct. So they're both right. Yes, they are. And when it says use number lines and words, you have to put in some words. So you can just say, Jen with the crooked J, rounded to the ones, and her brother, you can spell it all out properly, rounded to the tenths. Okay, and you could go on and say he used the 4 and the 4 said don't change the rounding place, and she used the ones place, and then the 5 rounded it up. So that's today's lesson in a nutshell, and I hope that was helpful. And be a subscriber, come back again. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.